Hi, I'm Kate Murray, and this is About Townshippers on CIDI 99.1 FM. Hi, everybody. Spring is here. Life is good. We're in a good mood today, although by the time you're listening to this, we might have had a little snow. So you just never know what's going on around here in the townships. But spring actually is here, so we're going to be positive. Today I have some guests who have a very interesting event coming up in about towards the end of the month. And I'm here today speaking with representatives from Procure. I have with me here Peter Tetreault. Hi, Peter.
Good morning, Kate.
And Gib Rotherham.
Good morning, Kate.
Hi, good morning, guys. Now, we're going to talk quite a lot about Procure and all the interesting and fun things you do, as well as the good work that you do. But maybe I'd like to start out just by giving a good announcement about the event that you've got coming up on the 28th of April, because this is going to be quite an interesting event.
Yes, it is, Kate. We're very, very excited about having this event here in Knowlton. What it is a conference with leading urologists that will be talking about the subject of prostate cancer. It is an English presentation. We have a conference in the fall of every year that is a French conference, and we're very, very pleased to have the English conference this spring. It's on the 28th of April, and it's at the Community Center. And the title of the conference is Reclaiming Your Life After Prostate Cancer. And when you think that 1 in 7 men in Canada are going to have prostate cancer in their lifetime, 4,800 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in Quebec this year. It's a subject that if it doesn't touch you, it may touch your brother, it may touch your husband, your father, your next-door neighbor, for that matter. And so we're really happy to bring this conference to Knowlton. It's going to be a teleconference. The event is being held in Montreal. And as a Procure prostate cancer support group, we're fortunate enough to be able to pick up the teleconference and host it at the community center on April the 28th.
That's going to be really interesting. And one of the things that I think most people recognize is that in a live teleconference, you do have an opportunity to interact with the people who are giving the conference in Montreal.
That's correct, Kate. We will be compiling a list of questions that come from our local support group here. We'll be providing those questions to the two medical specialists that will be giving their presentations at the conference. And that's Dr. Lorne Aaron he's a urologist from the Charles Lemoyne Hospital on the South Shore of Montreal, and Dr. Peter Chan, who's the Director of Male Reproductive Medicine at the Department of Urology at McGill University Health Center. So our group members here in Knowlton and the surrounding area will have an opportunity to have their questions posed to these doctors, which we could never be able to have appear here locally at a meeting. So by the magic of the internet, we're going to be able to gain the benefit of their knowledge here locally.
Well, that sounds very good. And I was also very interested when you sent me the information on the topics of their presentations. The first one being, what do people usually ask when they come for an appointment?
Well, we're usually a man will hear about his condition. Usually it will be the his GP that will have done his regular test as part of his regular annual checkup, and will identify that there's something perhaps that has to be looked at a little closer. And then he's referred to a specialist, a urologist. And typically in our area, the urologists that would specialize in prostate cancer would either be at Sherbrooke Hospital or at one of the hospitals in Montreal. The questions that come out, unfortunately, many of the urologists just don't have the time these days to answer all of these questions. And when you're told that you have prostate cancer, many times your mind is thinking about other things. It's not thinking directly about what you should be asking the doctor. So Dr. Lauren Aaron's presentation is called Frequent Questions and Answers Following a Diagnosis for Prostate Cancer. So, here's someone that's going to give a 30-minute presentation.
So often when you've identified correctly what we've all experienced, that your time is very limited when you have a doctor's appointment. And especially if you're given news about a potential diagnosis or a diagnosis, suddenly your mind will go quite blank, and you think of all your questions later on. That particular session, I think, is going to be very informative.
You're absolutely right, Kate. I had my diagnosis of prostate cancer 4 years ago. And just like you said, Mom, I started to think about my family, and I started to think about, what was going to happen to me. But I really didn't understand the process that I was going to go through. And so I learned it as it presented itself.
Right.
And that's one of the things, that's one of our roles as a prostate cancer support group, is to work with men and their families to guide them through the journey that they're going to go through. Right. We've been through it. Gib's been through it. Blair Anderson, another of our directors, has been through it. And so, we're the people that the patients want to talk to.
Absolutely, because you're right. It's as you progress through the first phase that you start thinking of all the possible ramifications, the different questions, how things are going to affect you and your family. And that's the second part of the presentation, isn't it? To be speaking about the fact that prostate cancer is something that really does involve the whole family.
Oh, yes. We're really fortunate here in Knowlton that our support group meetings, and we have support group meetings every month here at St. Paul's Church, that we have been able to attract not only the man, but also of the couple. And our meetings are, I'm going to say, pretty darn close to 50-50.
That's pretty impressive.
That's right. And that truly underlines the fact that prostate cancer is really an affair of the couple. And the couple has to start working on it, even, between the time of diagnosis and the time that the procedure starts. That's the time that they should start working on it, and that's what we advise them to do. Excuse me.
That I can see how all these pieces of the puzzle fit together to make things work more smoothly for the family, the couple together.
That's right.
So I'd like to remind everyone that this wonderful event with very knowledgeable speakers is going to be taking place April 28th at the Community Center. And what time should people arrive?
we ask that everyone, and just in passing, this is a no-charge event. All of our meetings are free of charge. Everyone is welcome. We've gone to the community center because we feel that this type of an event will attract far greater numbers than we have at our regular meeting, and our venue may not be appropriate for it. Also, the technical side is present. The technical support is present at the community center. It's a wonderful resource. We should be very proud of it, and they've made that available to us. So we ask everyone to be there at 6:30. On Monday night, the 28th of April, and we've got coffee and refreshments planned, and then the meeting will start sharp at 7 o'clock because, of course, we're dependent on the feed that's going to come to us from Montreal.
Right, from Montreal. Well, I can't encourage people enough to come to this event on the 28th to gain a lot more knowledge. But Gib, what we've just been talking about, the questions and the information, and actually the timing pretty much, sounds a lot like what happens at your regular meetings. What happens at your meetings?
Well, absolutely, Kate. Yes, thank you. And thank you for inviting us today. We have one of the wonderful things about our prostate cancer group, as Peter pointed out, is we're a mixed group. We encourage the ladies to come. We have speakers, quite often urologists, local doctors. Sometimes we have DVDs on prostate cancer, and every now and then we have sort of a testimonial from from an individual that's had it, and just sort of going through their journey, because every case is a little different. Right. And it's a good thing because, as Peter again pointed out, every fourth Monday at St. Paul's Church in Knowlton, in the basement, we meet at 6:30. From 6:30 to 7, we have sort of a social time with some coffee and tea and some cookies, etc. And then at 7 o'clock. And by the time we're finished, after the speaker or the DVD, we always have a question and answer period, and probably we're out of there between 8 and 8:30, and so we're not taking up a big time part of your time, and this has been going on. We're now actually into our fourth year. That
was one of the things that I was wondering about, because I was around at the time when you got started, and of course I would have thought that was just 6 months ago, but that's just me. 4 years, wow, that's very good.
Yeah, and we have people, Kate, coming from as far as Dunham, Cowansville, certainly all of the town of Brome Lake area. We go down into the Mansonville area, West Bolton, of course, and we average somewhere between 20 to 25 each meeting. Some cases we could have up to 45 or 50. And at this big meeting we're having on Monday, April the 28th, at the community center, we're really hoping for a crowd. We're hoping we're not being too optimistic, but we'd like 90 or 100 people there if we could.
Well, I don't think that's too optimistic, because, I think the more knowledge that everyone in the community gets, the better everyone is. Because, as you mentioned earlier, Peter, with the statistics as high as they are, throughout their life, most people are going to be touched in some way with someone they know having prostate cancer. So the more knowledge that people have, the better.
Definitely, that's our one of our main missions, Kate, is to create awareness, just to let the population know that this is one of the most common forms of cancer that men are going to be hit with in their lifetime, and that there is a group out there that's going to stand by them, going to walk with them through the journey.
Well, that's excellent. And I'm going to ask some more questions about what actually goes on at your group and your future plans. But let's just take a little break right now, everyone, and listen to a piece of music by Jim Robinson called Stuff Like That on his album Sounds Like Down Home. Take a listen.
Dad, we're making maple syrup again, barely covering costs. Son, you're right, I haven't added things up. The weatherman says there'll be frost. But hey, I'm glad you mentioned it. All this hard work for nothing's no joke. And if I was dependent on sugaring for a living, you're right, I'd be broke. But driving a team of horses, decked out with a full set of bells, heart keeping time with the dripping of the sap in the pails, heading for the camp, sailing up the ramp, holding onto your hat. How do you put a price on stuff like that? Roll by and I'd left home when Dad got the farm in two. Sold the part below the road with the barn, the fields and the view. Up until the day he died, he'd say I'd rather boil than eat and laugh. And he kept the woods and he kept on sugar, never did do the math. Driving a team of horses, decked out with a full set of bells, heart keeping time with the dripping of the sap in the pails, heading for the camp, sailing up the ramp, holding onto your hat. How do you put a price on stuff like that? Farm yesterday, thinking the sap would be running the stream. No horses, no bells, no buckets anymore, like last night in my dream. Hey son, you're making music again, not even covering costs. I said, Dad, you're right, I haven't added things up. The next one's gonna take off. Driving a team of horses, decked out with a full set of bells, heart keeping time with the dripping of the sap in the pails, heading for the camp, sailing up the ramp, holding onto your hat. How do you put a price on stuff like that? Driving a team of horses, decked out with a full set of bells, heart keeping time with the dripping of a sap in pails, heading for the camp, sailing up the ramp, holding onto your hat. How do you put a price on stuff like that? How do you put a price on stuff like that?
was Jim Robinson with Stuff Like That. I'm Kate Murray on CIDI 99.1 FM, and I'm in conversation today with Peter Tetreault and Gib Rotherham from the Procure Prostate Cancer Support Group. Before the break, we were just beginning to talk a little bit about some of the things that you do in the group aside from the meetings. And I know that you have had doctors refer men to your group when they received the diagnosis. What do you do in cases like that?
Well, let me take a case in particular. Local man, couple, man and wife, diagnosed with prostate cancer. We welcomed them at our meeting. They were referred to us. We met them for the first time with the disease at one of our meetings, and with the resources that we had, we have all kinds of brochures, all kinds of information. Like Gib said earlier, we have DVDs. This is all part of the resources that we have. We have a lending library, which is made up of much more complete books, bigger books, more expensive books that we lend out free of charge, and we just ask the people to bring them back once they've read them. And so we were able to tell this individual sort of what was facing him, what the typical hospital stay is going to be like, how he's going to come home after the hospital. I even went over and played cards with him after he came home from the hospital, because you're down and you've just gone through a big experience. So and then that person went on for radiation, and we had people that were able to help him understand what that was going to be like. We even offer to assist in driving. You know, when you go for radiation, typically for prostate cancer, and you go to Sherbrooke, you're going every day of the week for seven weeks. My treatment was 37 times to Sherbrooke. So, you know, if you can split the driving up between a couple of extra people, it takes the load off the spouse, and so we were able to help in many ways with this couple, and we have with other people. I got a call, a man from Cowansville, a francophone man from Cowansville. I met him at the Tim Hortons, and I said, look, let's have a cup of coffee together. He was there with his spouse, and we went through it. They've gone through the whole process, and they're a real loyal supporter of our group.
That actually does bring up another point, because I know you've mentioned that the event on April 28th is in English, but I've heard you also say before that although your presentations may be in English, you do communicate questions and answers in French as well to people.
That's right, Kate. We have always, we've been fortunate, I think, that we have several of our directors that are fluent in French, and so we don't have any difficulty answering questions in French. Our meetings are, like you said, are held in English. The presentations are in English. The DVDs are in English, but that is just for ease of running the meeting. A bilingual meeting is a very difficult thing to do, and that's why Procure has decided to have a French conference with French speakers and an English conference with English speakers. And we hosted, as a matter of fact, talking about that, we hosted the fall French meeting in Cowansville at the CLSC last October, and we were just thrilled with the turnout that we had for that meeting.
Well, that's excellent. So Procure is a new group for you to be involved with. I guess it's under a year at this point, but you're very happy with your connections with Procure?
Absolutely, and Peter and I will sort of combine on this answer. We started, Kate, with a national group because we thought it was important, and we started with Prostate Cancer Canada Network, which is headquartered in Toronto, and we were with them for approximately 3 years, and they did provide brochures for us and certain amount of information, but one thing that they were not able to do to help us was more in terms of a bilingual thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sort of turn this next part of the answer over to Peter, because then we carried on with the new group, Procure, which is located in Montreal.
Our first dealings with Procure was in the summer of 2012. We wanted to do some fundraising for prostate cancer research, and we needed an event that we could piggyback onto, and we had knowledge that there was a group in Montreal called Procure, and they run every year a very, very important prostate cancer fundraiser. They have a walk, they have a run, and they have a bicycle event. And so myself and the 5 other directors participated in the Walk of Courage. It's a 5-kilometer Walk of Courage. And we were able to raise $3,000 from the local community, and we thank our sponsors greatly. These were local businesses that each stepped up to the bar and gave us $500 each, and we walked in the Walk of Courage. So we knew the extent of Procure's position. We knew their position, and when we worked in collaboration with them last fall on the French conference, we knew we had to have a major event to be able to draw in the Francophone population in a community where we really would be starting from scratch. And the fall conference, similar to the spring conference that we're going to host on April the 28th, was that springboard, and Procure stepped up to the bar and they said, we're there to help you in any way we can. And after the meeting, they said, why not become our support group? So we have become, as of January the 20th this year, the first Procure support group in the province of Quebec. And believe it or not, they're using this little support group in Knowlton, Quebec, as their model for expansion of prostate cancer support groups throughout the province of Quebec.
I'm just so bowled over by this because, yes, as you say, this was a very active organization in Montreal, but that there weren't any support group parts of it, and they must have been really quite intrigued when they heard from you and heard that you'd been going for 3 years and how many people you have, and that you've got the man and the woman together coming to the group. They must have been really impressed.
To say the least, to say the least, and they've been good to us. January they came down, Laurent Proux and the chairman of the board. Laurent Proux is the executive director of Procure, and Cedric Bisson is the chairman of the board. I must say it's a completely bilingual organization. Those two gentlemen have French names, but they are fluently bilingual. And since day one, 15 years ago, when Procure was formed, it was formed by English and French people, and they have continued that tradition. Their website is fantastic. It's bilingual, 100% bilingual. And they just were overwhelmed with what we had been able to accomplish down here.
Well, I think that gives a lot of credit to the spirit of the people in this community, doesn't it? That people are willing to reach out to each other, help each other, and get stuff done.
Well, that's so important, that we want to get, to help people. And Peter and I did not have the a support group to help us at the time of our prostate cancer problems. But today we have a group and we're ready to meet people, and we encourage people to come out to our monthly meetings, which is every fourth Monday of the month at St. Paul's Church in Knowlton, 6:30.
That's an important point to re-emphasize. So where are you going from here? It's sort of like onward and upward and constantly getting better. I'm sure you have other plans.
Yes, we certainly do, Kate. We always seem to have more plans than we have time. We can't forget that we are all 6 of our directors, and that's Gibbon, myself, Dr. Robert Pincott, Blair Anderson, Klaus Bremer, and Ray Jones from Sutton. We're all retired, and so it's love and commitment that bring us to this, and we have a life. We have a life to live and a retirement to enjoy. But it gets to you, and you see the joy and the happiness that you're able to bring to people in a time when they really need it. So that's what keeps us going, and our mission is to really spread the word that we exist, and thank you very much for having us here today, because this will help us greatly, that we exist and that we're here to spread the word that prostate cancer is the cancer, probably the number one cancer that's going to affect men in their lifetime, and how men should proceed. In order to do that, we've set some goals, and one of the goals is networking. So we have reached out to the BMP Foundation. We've reached out to the Chamber of Commerce here in Lac Brome. We've reached out to the fire department, because we feel that those are men that are at the perfect age to find out about more about prostate cancer. We've got a relationship with La Maison Diapason in Bromont, which we feel is another tremendous resource that we have. And we're going to reach out to the businesses, to the local employers, just to make sure that they can distribute our flyers and direct anyone that may be afflicted with the disease in their organization, that to know that there is a resource. We do realize that our mission in Brome-Missisquoi County is one that has to be both present in the Anglophone and Francophone populations. And we had a meeting last October, the conference in Cowansville, and we will be working with the resources that we have in Cowansville to get a Francophone group going in Cowansville to work with us, and we'll be there to hold their hand and to get them going, and then they'll become autonomous to serve the Francophone community too.
Well, it sounds very, very complete, and it really sounds like you're reaching out to, as you say, both spread the word and to people who have received a diagnosis of prostate cancer, but also the awareness to younger men that they should be a lot more informed, so that they can be aware of things to discuss with their own doctors. And I guess one of the other things is, people say, but you're not doctors. But you know what? I know from many, many people that hearing information from someone who has had the experience is totally invaluable.
Well, one of the beauties, Kate, is that because we have access to the medical field, although we, as you point out, we're not doctors, we don't have all the answers, but we can get the answers for people. And, it's just important. One very important thing to me is that, particularly for men, is to go and have an annual checkup with your doctor. hopefully you will never get prostate cancer, but it's worth it, and it's worth getting a PSA test done, which is sort of the barometer to determine the situation. And as I say, each case is different, but we really encourage men, and of course we encourage men to come out to our meetings as well, as I keep saying, every fourth Monday of each month.
I think one of the messages that has to be delivered to anyone that's listening is early detection equals more options. And that can't be truer than with prostate cancer. It can be just establishing a benchmark from which you continue monitoring with no intervention whatsoever, to either surgery, or there are new treatments coming out every year, and we all hope that by putting some resources into research that maybe my sons are not going to have to go through what I went through.
Well, we can certainly all hope for that. And as you say earlier, the fact of spreading information, getting people more knowledgeable about the disease. And as you said before, the earlier that people learn that they have prostate cancer, the better, because they do have more options for treatment. So one thing is, I'm going to come back and remind everyone that a wonderful introduction to the Procure Prostate Cancer Support Group and all the information that they have is at your event coming up on April 28th, where you have a free live video conference coming from Montreal. And you've got some really wonderful speakers.
Yes, Kate. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Lauren Aaron, urologist from the Charles Lemoyne Hospital on the South Shore, will be addressing frequently asked questions and answering those questions following a diagnosis for prostate cancer. And Dr. Peter Chan, who's the director of male reproductive medicine at Department of Urology at the McGill University Health Center in Montreal, will be talking about reclaiming your sex life while surviving prostate cancer. And I'm fortunate enough to be asked to give a third presentation, and I will be talking about the role of prostate cancer support groups in the whole process. And of course, there'll be questions and answers after that.
Well, it sounds like a very informative and welcoming meeting that you've arranged for everyone. And I know that everyone who attends will be very glad that they did. So I can't thank you enough for being in today and speaking about the group and the event, and I'm sure we'll have you back again. So, Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kate. And also thank one other group that we always tend to forget is the Townshippers. And the Townshippers have been great. You've been great to us, and we want to thank all the Townshippers for their support, and we hope to meet a number of them at the meeting April the 28th, 6:30 at the community center in Lac-Brome.
That's very good encouragement, and thank you very much, Gib, for being here.
Thank you, Kate. It's been a pleasure, and we really appreciate all you've done for us. Thank you so much.
Okay.